All right, I think I am live here. Going through the Saturday edition to see if there are any life insurance questions or if there's any way I can help people avoid the spam calls, the high pressure, and help them get life insurance information or, in fact, life insurance. So, I am live. I'm here. I've got the top 20 questions that have been asked today on Google, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you might have. If you've got any questions about life insurance, you're more than welcome to chime in and ask them. There is no obligation, no pressure, no spam, no lies. All true information that hopefully will be useful to you in your pursuit of life insurance. My biggest recommendation is if you have kids under the age of 18, that you should have a life insurance policy on you and your spouse. I think that's the one time where life insurance should almost be mandatory, but I can help in all other situations. If you have a mortgage that you want to protect, I could give you some recommendations on that, what to look out for. If you're a senior citizen, I can recommend companies that I personally use, and I can tell you how to get that policy in place without getting the spam calls, without getting the pressure, without falling for those misleading advertisements that are only designed to get your phone number so they can call you nonstop. So if there are no questions, I guess I can go ahead and start with the top 20 questions asked today in the United States of America on Google. Using life insurance to build wealth. That is something that a lot of people try to sell people. A lot of agents use or try to sell life insurance as an investment vehicle. I don't think that that's what it's designed for. There are whole life policies. I think the whole life policies are best suited for people who are looking to cover their burial or cremation. I would probably go with a $5,000 to $15,000 policy, no more than $20,000 for burial or cremation. Term policies, I think those are best suited for mortgage protection, income replacement, and to protect your young kids in the event of your death. Index universal life insurance policies can be an investment. It's essentially an investment account with a insurance component. Typically, those are very, very expensive. The first 3 years that you put money into it, you don't see any return. It typically goes to the agent or goes to the life insurance company themselves. So I don't really recommend those. Typically, it's like a secondary investment for people, like after they have their 401k maxed out, after they have their Roth maxed out, maybe they've got some mutual funds as well, and then they decide to open up something like an index universal life insurance policy. So I don't recommend that out of the gate for people. Typically, for those types of policies, it's going to take a little bit of while for it to build up the wealth that they sell you on. So my recommendation, senior citizens get a whole life insurance policy to cover burial or cremation between $5,000 to $20,000 at the most. For younger people who are looking for income replacement, mortgage protection, typically 10 to 12 times your income or all of the debt. Those policies are really inexpensive and they offer a lot of protection. All right, let's see. Question 19 in the United States today is cheap, affordable life insurance medical exams. Most life insurance companies don't require medical exams unless you're over the age of 60 and you are looking for a larger amount of coverage. Sometimes in those situations, they do require you to go into a Quest Diagnostic Center to get your blood pressure checked, your height, your weight. They might draw some blood just to make sure you are in fact healthy. Sometimes if you go over $4 to $5 million in coverage, then they will want you to go in and have a medical exam. Typically, I think the cutoff point is $3 million or more. Anything over that, they will probably want you to have some type of exam. And that's also the time where the instant approval is kind of pushed out a little bit. So after you get your exam, it will be instantly approved. But for most people looking for $500,000, $1 million, $2 million worth of coverage, there's no blood work, there's nothing like that, and the approval is instant. Question number 18, is life insurance taxable? It is not. It is a tax-free benefit that is sent to your family when you die. Hey, hello there, AJ. Yeah, it's a tax-free benefit that's sent to your family when you die. They don't pay taxes on it. They get to do with the money what they want to do. Typically, it's cover the cost of burial, cremation, or pay for the mortgage and help raise the kids. So as of today, Uncle Sam gets $0 from your death benefit. All right, let's see. Best life insurance companies. My recommendation is Banner Term for a term policy. That is hands down the best company. The prices are the lowest that I've seen. There are a couple companies that are close in price, like Protective, Pacific, Prudential. They're close in price, but I think Banner Term is by far the better company for term coverage. For whole life coverage, provided there are no serious health issues, let's say the only thing you have is a high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and controlled diabetes, meaning that there's no diabetic neuropathy, there's no amputation, there's no issues with your liver or kidneys. If those are the only issues you have, my recommendation would be to go with Mutual of Omaha. If you do have some complications, like say you've got some other complications, other medications, then the best bet is to go with a broker to find out what company is going to be best suited for you. Each life insurance company, there's 700 of them, they weight different medications and different health conditions at a different rate. So if you've got multiple issues, then the best thing to do is to check with a broker to see what you can find. Make sure you work with someone you know, trust, and is not going to push a policy on you that you don't understand. Let's see, what is the next question? Question number 14 is, do I need life insurance? That is a question that you have to ask yourself. It's kind of like being religious or spiritual, so that's something that you have to feel from the inside. My recommendation is if you have kids under 18, you should absolutely, positively, 100% have a life insurance policy in place. All other situations can kind of be excused. You know, I think if you get married, you should probably have a life insurance policy in place just to protect your spouse. If you have a mortgage, I think that should also be a good time where you can get life insurance to protect that investment. But when you have kids, I think everything else is secondary. I think every other thing is secondary, and that's when you should absolutely have a policy in place to protect your family in the event of your death. But like whether or not you need it, it's something that you have to sit down and think about. You have to sit down and think like, okay, if I die tomorrow, what happens to the family? And if you don't like the outcome, then yes, that would be a need for life insurance. All right, the next question is, how long do I need to get life insurance for? 10, 20, or 30 years? Really depends on your situation. My recommendation is 30 years. I always go with the maximum years of coverage just because you have the coverage longer, right? If you develop any kind of health issues in year 21, 22, you still have coverage in place. But the more straightforward answer is as long as you need it. So if you're raising kids, if you're paying off the mortgage, if you're building up your retirement account, once all of those things are accomplished, then you no longer need it, you can in fact cancel your policy. But I always like to have it for as long as possible. So let's see, term life versus whole life. That is a good question. A term life insurance policy provides a lot of coverage for a very little bit a month. It lasts for a certain term, like 10, 20, 30 years. It goes up to 40 years. And what it's designed to do is to protect your income replacement. Like if there are people who depend on your income to survive, then the life insurance company protects that. Like it protects the things that you're trying to grow, like your kids, like you paying off the house, like all the obligations that you said that you were going to be responsible for. If something happens to you, the life insurance company steps in and takes care of that. It does expire at the end of the term, but by the time the term expires, hopefully you meet all the obligations that you set out to meet. The whole life insurance policies are a little bit different. They're drastically more expensive. The coverage amount's a lot lower, and in my opinion, they're best suited for final expenses like burials, cremations, stuff of that nature. They do last your entire life. They're more expensive, so just a price comparison between term and whole life. If you're 35 years old and someone's trying to sell you a whole life policy, just remember whole life is, you can get, well, for a term policy, you can get 10 times the amount of coverage for 1/5 of the cost. So that is something to consider. What are the different types of life insurances? I think I covered that. I think I covered the term, the whole life, and the index universal. Let's see. I covered the term, the whole life, and the index universal. My recommendation is term for younger people who need to take care of their kids and their families. Whole life is for burial or cremation. Index universal funds, you really have to be careful with those, like who you work with and where you get those from. They are drastically more expensive than the other two. Typically, it is an investment account with a life insurance component. I don't really recommend them. They are designed to be Oh, I was going over the term, the whole life, and the index universal fund there, Shay. Well, thank you for the little things there. Yeah, I was saying for as far as the index universal life insurance policy, it's just an investment account with a life insurance component. Typically, it's more expensive. The first 3 years that you put money into it, it's all going to go to the insurance agent and to the insurance companies. After the third year, it starts to builds up cash value based on the market performance. Typically, there's a cap to 10 to 12%. So if the market goes up 10%, your money goes up by 10%. If the market goes down 10, 20, 30%, your money stays the same. After the third year is when it starts to build up some equity, and typically there is a big fee if you take money out in the first 7 years. What part, Shay? What's what the index universal life insurance or the term, Miss Shay? Oh, two, the term policies, yeah. The term policies, I recommend those for people who want to protect their mortgages or have income replacement in place. Those are really good for people with young kids under the age of 18. They're drastically less expensive. They provide lot of coverage. So while you're raising the kids, while you're paying off the mortgage, while you're building up your retirement account, that policy will be in place in case something were to happen to you. So your family will be taken care of. Those policies are really, really inexpensive. Never mind. Aw, don't be like that, Shay. Don't be like, oh. Well, thank you for the heart, Shay. I appreciate that. I know it's not a very interesting topic. I don't know how I can make it more interesting. Um, I can't dance very well and I can't sing, but I can certainly help with life insurance. But yeah, so next question. The next question, Miss Shay, is when should you get life insurance? I'm going to have to go to work. Well, okay, Shay. Well, you enjoy work. Hopefully, it's not too stressful, and have a fantastic weekend. And thanks for stopping by. By the way, if you ever have any questions, I'm usually online daily, going through the questions, so I will be here. All right, number 10 is when should you get life insurance? There are a few different times when you should get life insurance. Whenever you get married, I think that's a good time to get life insurance, especially if you're going to depend on each other's income. That's a good time. Whenever you buy a house, that's usually a good time to get life insurance, just to make sure the mortgage is protected. And the biggest time, in my opinion, hands down, if you've seen any of the videos before, which you probably haven't, the biggest time to get life insurance is when you have kids. If you create a human being, like if you bring a human into the world, then you should have a life insurance policy on yourself to make sure that human will be protected in the event of your loss. Those are the biggest times to get life insurance. Another time would be if you're planning to cover the cost of your burial or cremation. If you are a senior citizen, let's say you're retired and you don't have the money to cover the cost of the burial or cremation, and your kids can't do it or they won't do it, then that would be a time to get a final expense whole life insurance policy. I would start with 5 to 15,000, maybe 20,000, but I wouldn't. You already back from work? Wow. Okay. Yeah, no more than that. I wouldn't go any higher than $20,000 for the whole life insurance policy if you're looking to cover the cost of a burial. Typically, most burials are between $8 to $12,000, depending on your area. And actually, I can put a useful website in the chat where you can actually figure out how much it will cost in your area. A lot of people are just not familiar with how much they actually cost. Interesting side note, if you are in fact interested in it, the cost of burials have actually gone down over the past 5 years. Now, the cost of cremations have gone up, and the reason why is back in the day, people were doing burials more often than cremations. So the funeral homes were still making money off the burials, right? You know, they did the services, they did the makeup, they did the embalming, so they were still uh, getting paid. But when people started going more towards the cremations, they jacked up the prices of the cremations and they lowered the prices of the funerals. So now it's not a huge gap in price, and more people will opt for the burial. So that's just an interesting side note, something that I've observed over the past 10 years. Working till 5? Okay. Well, hopefully you got some good plans for tonight. All right, see, do I need life insurance for a mortgage? You do not need life insurance for a mortgage. The bank does not care if you miss a payment. They will happily foreclose and recoup their money. They do require you to have a homeowner's insurance, but they don't require you to have a mortgage protection plan. All right, so they don't require you to have life insurance on yourself because their investment is going to be protected. I recommend having a life insurance policy for the mortgage. That is a good time to get it. It's usually inexpensive, and it takes 15 to 20 minutes to actually do that. Let's see. Question number 8. Oh, no problem, Shay. You stopping by. I don't know if I'm entertaining or not. Most people don't like the life insurance topic, but I do appreciate your company. I did a podcast or a live cast earlier, and I was talking to myself for an hour, which I can do that, but it's always nice to have someone in the chat. Yeah, I know, right? I've got a couple of dogs here, so it wasn't totally bad. All right, so the next question I've got is how to find out if someone has life insurance. There are a few ways that I would do it. First of all, if someone has life insurance, they should have it in a safe place, like a safe or like a drawer or something like that. If they don't have it and you're looking for it, I would check their banking account or their credit card account to see if there's a draft from a life insurance company. I do not. I do not work in the Army. No. That would be fun, though, depending on the job. So you check their bank account, check their credit card for a monthly draft from like Mutual of Omaha, SBLI, American Amicable, Foresters. If you can't find a draft from a life insurance company, one way to do it, after that, you would have to go to the NAIC. Oh, this is my Mexico shirt, Shay. My wife got me the shirt when we went to Mexico. And apparently, this is also the shirt that drug dealers wear, because when I was in Mexico, a lot of people asked to buy drugs from me, which I did not have. But why do you have wearing an army suit? It's not an army suit. Maybe it's the camera work here. It's got little stars on it, like a little galaxy, but. All right, so if you're looking to find out, you have to have the death certificate. You have to get to the NAIC website, put in their social security number, submit the death certificate, and they can find out if there was a policy in place. All right, how do you buy life insurance? That's pretty straightforward. The best way to do it is to work with a broker. If you can't work with a broker, I would go directly to a carrier's website, and they will be able to give you a price. And that way you can also avoid all of those spam phone calls. What? Yeah. Oh, the camera glitch? I'm sorry. My phone is about to die, Shay. I'm doing this from my phone, and I think it's about to die. But I will probably be back on a little bit later. If you have any questions about life insurance or anything in general, I'll be more than happy to answer that. But right now, my phone is at 2%, and so it's probably going to tweak out here in a minute.